Ladies, it's very important who you pick to be the father of your child. Case in point. Let's get into it.
A beautiful young girl found dead. Her body allegedly left in a burned out, vacant home. The person who killed her and left her to be found by others, police say, her own father. And when police found him...
Come here, man. Don't do it. What you're trying to kill me?
Newly released body cam shows...
Listen, man. Coward behavior. Coward behavior. On so many levels, bro. I can't even speak. It's difficult for me to speak on what I just heard in my ears. Like, what this man was able to and willing to commit on his own child. And then he's not even willing to face the consequences of his actions. What kind of evil is this? What kind of perverse mind does this man have to want to even do what they just accuse him of doing, which we know is true? Let's get into it, man.
That father, an accused murderer, allegedly pulling a gun on police who are forced to open fire. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Couldn't even face the consequences. Couldn't even face the consequences, man.
The story we're talking about today has rocked the community of Toledo, Ohio to its core, not just for the loss of life, but for the questions that are being asked about what could have been done to stop this from happening. This is the girl who lost her life. 13-year-old Kimani Lateek. Police say she went missing on March 18th. 6 days later, on March 24th, this elementary school student was found dead inside a home in Toledo, Ohio. It was a burned out, vacant house. The coroner in Toledo released this statement saying an autopsy showed that Kimani was found with multiple incision wounds to the neck. That means something that was sharp, like a knife, was used to kill her. A day prior to Kimani's body being found, authorities put out an arrest warrant for her father. Here's his picture. His name is Darnell Jones. He also goes by Darnell Ogletree.
And then here's the crazy part. These dudes are the same dudes who have multiple situations going on at the same time with random women. And I'm not, listen, people just have to pick better people to be around and to involve themselves with, because I guarantee you there were some women in this neighborhood that this dude was around who was probably looking at him as a prospect for a relationship. But look at what this man was capable of, bro. Look at the nasty. Anyway, let's go ahead. Because that's crazy.
According to court records. And there are plenty of court records related to this man. He has a lengthy criminal history. He's been accused of arson, assault, also illegally carrying a firearm. We'll talk a little bit more.
And the police didn't know to keep him locked up
in just a moment. But let's get to this newly released body cam video of what went down when he was put under arrest. This video is from Columbus, Ohio police.
Come here, man. Don't do it. What you're trying to kill me?
Dude, show me your hands right now. Pull your hand out. I swear to God, pull your...
Watch that there. At that moment, you can see Jones make a sudden movement and the officer fires multiple times. Now, I can't show you the moment that officers actually opened fire because of rules on YouTube. You also might have heard what sounds like Jones saying, quote, "just kill me," as the officer pulls his weapon to confront him on the street. Let's pick up this video as officers search Jones, who is on the ground, wounded, but still alive.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Dennis in a second. Get medic,
Don't move.
That's disgusting, bro.
Don't move.
Alright, suspect's down. All you guys are okay.
And he was just walking around the neighborhood like everything was cool.
But there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're going to get shot, okay? All right? Got it. Yep.
He ain't begging to die no more.
That's him.
Hey, I thought he was serious. Why he ain't keep moving?
I working on it.
Now, if you look closely at the video, you can see the gun that Jones allegedly pulled on police. At the time of this recording, Jones is still in the hospital recovering in Columbus. He faces a charge of felonious assault on a police officer on top of the murder charge that he's facing in Toledo for allegedly killing his own daughter.
Now, this message is for men and women, man. Be careful who you hang around. Be careful, because this dude could have been one of y'all homies. For the men. And for for the ladies, this could have been the dude that you invited over from the club after, you know, whatever. Man, it's a scary world we live in. We really can't. You can't just be out there like that no more. It ain't even worth it. Look, he hanging out doing all the regular stuff. You see the blunt in his hand? They covering it up kind of, but nah, not really. He doing all the regular stuff that people will find to be normal activities. Man, look, you better be careful out there.
Head of the police union in Columbus spoke to the media after Jones was arrested. He said that there was a bolo put out for Jones and officers knew who to look for. He also said this, according to WTOL TV.
This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat was cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town.
That is a chilling, disturbing, heartbreaking description of the type of case that authorities
and it's twisted enough for you to do it, but for you to do it to your own child is that's ridiculous.
In 2011, he was arrested for arson for allegedly lighting a commercial building on fire. Then, in 2015, he was arrested for carrying a gun after being convicted of the 2011 felony arson. A witness said in that case, he had fired the gun outside a home in Toledo. Then in 2017, we found that he was arrested for felony assault, where police say Jones smashed an alternator into the face of a man and sent him to the hospital where he had to receive 20 stitches. Then in 2022, he was arrested again for carrying a weapon while having been a convicted felon. And the most disturbing...
So what his rap sheet shows me is that not only is he a repeat offender, he's a violent criminal. He's slapping people with alternators. Bro, nobody thought that he was a menace to society. Nobody thought, like, we need to get him up out of here. I know that there's laws and there's loopholes or whatever, but if people can be arrested for unjust or unproven crimes, you telling me y'all couldn't have found something to put him away with? Come on, man. Come on, man. This is insane. To the point where the daughter done got violated in these ways. And then here's the thing. What's the mother finna feel after this? What is she finna go through? Like, what kind of therapy is it that's gonna get her through this? Because the mom, man, that's crazy. Anyway,
charges, of course, now are the ones that he is facing for allegedly killing his own 13-year-old daughter. Court documents show he is charged with murder as well as assault and abduction. The court records say that Jones removed his daughter without consent of her guardian, reportedly her grandmother, from her home. The document also says that when police spoke with Jones, he gave inconsistent statements about where he went with his daughter. This is certainly a story that sticks with you because the details are so heartbreaking, and that is certainly the case when you see how the community in Toledo, Ohio have responded to what happened.
A shocking story out of Pennsylvania for you. A judge's boyfriend tries to end their year-long relationship, tells her she has to move out. In response, she shot him in the head while he slept. Now, he miraculously survived the shooting and testified against her.
Here's what's crazy about the world and people who we elect as officials. What is going on with... we putting these people in power for them to turn around and either abuse the power blatantly or to become the criminal who they say they're trying to protect us from. And when I say the criminal, I don't just mean people who had a slip up and never committed a crime again. I'm talking about like the things that these people are doing are nefarious of nature. These are not things that you happen to bump into. To try to unalive the person that you sleep next to at night, You cannot be trusted. I don't care what nobody say. That is insanity.
At trial. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
And then you,
Jesse Weber.
Then you're a judge.
Well, it didn't take very long for a jury in Pennsylvania to find former Harrisburg District Judge Sonia McKnight guilty of attempted murder. Yep, you heard me right. Prosecutors say she was a scorned lover, and when her boyfriend at the time insisted she move out of his home, she fired a gun at his head while he was in bed, possibly trying to stage things to look like a suicide. But that boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend, Michael McCoy, lived to tell the tale, and he did so on the witness stand, and we're going to get to that. Now, we first told you about 55-year-old Sonia McKnight's arrest a little more than a year ago.
Also, for you fellas, you better be paying attention, bro. Because your next conquest could be a lady like this. I'm going to need y'all to pay attention.
In February 2024, McCoy, who had been in a romantic relationship with McKnight for about a year, wanted to end the relationship. So he asked her to move out of his home, but says she refused, even took away her key. But then you go to February 9th, and he came home to find her hanging out on his couch in her pajamas. According to McCoy, he left to go out to a restaurant, and when he came back, he told McKnight they'd talk about things in the morning. So he says he went to sleep at around 11 p.m. that night, but then wakes up a few hours later in incredible pain. He was blinded, unable to see, but says he could hear McKnight asking, "Mike, what did you do to yourself?" Well, turns out McCoy had a gunshot wound near his right eye. He was rushed to the hospital, told EMTs, though, he didn't shoot himself, was not suicidal, and if at any point his heart stopped or he stopped breathing, he told the medical staff, "Save me." Now, the only other person in that home that evening was McKnight. Now, police say she called 911 to tell them she heard her boyfriend screaming.
That means not only did she commit the crime, she also tried to fabricate an alibi, hoping that this man had some type of brain damage or something like that or memory loss from the actual gunshot wound. That way he wouldn't be able to testify or be able to formulate words, probably even, to combat the story that she was telling. That is wild, bro. That is next level villain type criminal activity. This is mafia type criminal type activity.
But didn't know what happened. The problem for McKnight was, police quickly started uncovering clues in the home. The gun used in the shooting was owned by McKnight. Investigators found gunshot residue on her hand and clothes, and police say they caught McKnight in lies. For example, she told detectives that she didn't leave the house that night, but surveillance footage from neighbors proved that wasn't the case. McKnight was arrested and released on $300,000 bail, and her trial started more than a year later, and that is what we're going to talk about. But to get into some more of the evidence, this case, I'm not just bringing on an attorney. No. I'm going to bring on, for a judge who was convicted of acting quite badly, I'm bringing on right now Judge Brandon Birmingham.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Excuse me. Just to give y'all a heads up, this is a story I actually looked into, or I seen yesterday, and I already seen the verdict. I believe she ends up getting like 20 years, just to ruin the story for you. But long story short, they did find her guilty, and it's well deserved. But that is something else. To think that the person that you lay beside is plotting on you on that level. Anyway, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime that I upload. Also, please do not forget to watch the video at least halfway through. Turn the notification bell on all. Hit the subscribe button. If you have made it this far to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching the video. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.